we'll go ahead and start. Go ahead with whenever you're ready. No opening statement today, so just sort of fire away with questions.
Carly, do you see Arkansas maybe as toughest test of the season so far?
I think we've had a lot of tough tests this season. Our non-conference schedule is typically pretty tough, and this is just another game on the schedule where we have to compete and play our hardest for 40 minutes. I think the good thing is that it's late in our non-conference, and we have had tough tests with South Dakota State, with Drake that we just played, and a lot of them being away. So I think having a home game and having a tough test like this, I think it'll be good for us, especially going into Stanford and UConn after Christmas.
What do you see on film?
Really fast team. Really able to drive the ball, get downhill. It'll put a lot of pressure on us to just play good defense and make sure we don't foul, just get in front of them and stop the drive before they can get all the way downhill and get the layups that they want to get.
How similar or different are they from last year's team, would you think?
I mean, they have a few changes to their starting lineup, but I would say that last year they were really able to drive the ball and get downhill. So I think we're seeing some of the similar concepts that they had last year. So I think, last year we were able to stop the drive, and it was still a close game. But I think if we're able to, sit down, really guard, and make sure they finish over us, then I think we'll be doing or executing pretty well.
Still a little weird to be this far in the season, just playing your third home game of the year.
Yeah, it is. It is. We're almost to Christmas and we've only played 3 home games, or going to play 3 home games. So, it is different, but I think that builds the toughness I was talking about earlier. When you can go on the road and get wins, then it kind of puts you a little bit more at ease when you're playing a tough opponent at home, where you have your crowd behind you and a lot of fans. So. It is definitely weird of a season to not have that many home games, but when we do, we really do appreciate all the fans and everyone that comes out.
You done Stanford prep, or does that come after Arkansas?
After Arkansas, one game at a time.
So do you get a sense of the disparity, the differences between those two teams, though? Like one team is one way and the other team?
Honestly, we haven't even started talking about Stanford yet. But, we all kind of know their personnel and obviously how good they are and what they bring to the table. So, there's going to be some differences as far as, personnel. Like Flan said, they had to go 10 deep into the lineup before someone was under 6'2" or something. So, obviously, that's going to be a big difference from what we're coming across with Arkansas. But, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, and
You guys really push each other at practice. How does that help you in the games?
I think that's the reason why we've been so successful this year is obviously everyone on this team can play at this level, but not only play, but just push each other to get better. When you're competitive and you want to win in practice, and that only leads more towards the games when you're, ultra competitive and you want to go out there and play your hardest and win for the person next to you just because you know how hard you've both been working. So I think, I think that's what makes us a good team is just the willingness to go and compete every day and against each other, and then it shows up when we actually play on game days.
Is there something really exciting about going from playing the 21st team to the second-ranked team, ninth-ranked team?
Yeah.
It never ends, and they're all great opponents.
Yeah, I think it is really exciting, and ever since I've gotten here, our non-conference schedule has been tougher. But I think in the past 2 years, we've just kept pushing it to even higher limits to where we are playing just like 2 of the top 10 teams in the nation back to back. But I think what's exciting is that none of us are really like backing away from that challenge or don't feel scared about what we're going against. We, like I said, we're very confident in who we are and what we bring to the table. So if anything, we just see it as a challenge and a really good opportunity for us to compete.
So how good is it just to kind of be back in the swing of things for you obviously after missing several games?
It's great. The Drake game was a great game to come back for. My teammates have been really good about keeping me involved in everything, and so it really didn't feel like I was out of the loop for too long. Obviously great to be back on the floor and be able to compete, especially with this great schedule we have coming up.
What can you say about that schedule? Arkansas, Stanford, UConn, all in a row. Do you look forward to those types of stretches when
Yes.
you are yourselves a top team?
Yeah, I really do. I mean, I think a big part of what prepared us for our end of the year last year was our schedule. At this point in the season, we played the Arkansas. We had a long stretch of on the road. We played really great teams with South Dakota State, et cetera. So I think this is going to be a big point of emphasis for us in our growth and seeing how we can handle these challenges on back-to-back nights. And we'll find out a lot about ourselves and how much adversity we can handle at this point. So I'm looking forward to it.
How's your leg a couple days after the first game back?
It's good. It's good. Yep. I keep that treatment on it. You know, it hasn't had any problems since being cleared, and our athletic training staff and our weight staff has kept me really healthy. So I'm thankful for that after coming off of that injury.
How many hours of treatment is it now, and how many was it at one time per day?
Well, being a fifth year, my treatment is pretty long, but you know we take our time. We don't rush it, and it's all to keep me out there as long as I can be, and especially with these big games coming up, be able to stay out there as long as I can. So, yeah.
What's impressed you most about the team so far this year?
I would say the most impressive thing about us is our willingness to buy into the things we're not good at, individually and as a team. We have a lot of scorers, a lot of playmakers, but even their ability to recognize, okay, when do I need to be a screener? When do I need to focus on my rebounding? All of that just shows the unselfishness that we have on their team. And I think that's really come to light when you have different leading scorers every night. You have different people coming off the bench. You have different people playing more minutes than others. But that's just a testament to how much this team wants to win as a group rather than be successful individually.
Back-to-back home games, I have to imagine it's been nice to just be home
Yes.
for the week. Does that help you guys in your prep at all? You know, when you don't have to worry about travel, you can sleep in your own beds, especially with how much you guys have been on the road.
Yeah, of course. I mean, coming off of finals, you know, everyone was a little stressed and sleep schedules are off, and but being able to be here, just us as a team, along with a few other sports teams, and just kind of go through our routine on a day-to-day basis is really helpful, and not have to worry about going from a bus to a plane to a bus to a hotel, and that schedule just gets a little tiring. So it's definitely nice to be at home for at least hopefully 2 weeks now, starting, and then we leave again. So, but yeah, it's been nice to be back here.
With an opening statement about Arkansas, and then go ahead, guys.
Yeah, Arkansas is a really good team. They really spread you out and play with a lot of pace, and you know they've got pretty good experience. They've got good size. I think they're really balanced perimeter, and they can score in the post, and they'll be ready. I mean, we beat them at their place last year, so I would expect that we'll have their full attention. And I know they're finishing up finals, and probably just like our team, I think having finals over is a relief to a college basketball player. So I would expect that we'd get a really good effort from them on Saturday. And you know, they're 12-0, so I know they'll play with a lot of confidence too.
Are you expecting your team to maybe come out a little fresher than normal, having had back-to-back home games as opposed to all the time you guys have been on the road?
Yeah, I thought we came out really good against Drake, and I felt like that was a reflection of having 2 days off at the beginning of the week, and then having sufficient prep time, and hopefully it's the same this week. We've had really a full week. I mean, we kind of got unlucky that our finals week was a week ago, and everybody else's finals week was this week, so we couldn't really find a game in the midweek, and that's why we're only playing this one game. But I think, you know, coaches like more practice time, so we're and just having slept in our own beds really for the last 10, 12 days, I think can make a difference in terms of just being fresh and ready.
What's it? I mean, maybe you still see yourself as an underdog a little bit, but you're not really an underdog.
Yeah.
You haven't been all season. You counted in a favorite in every game. How's your team handled not being, you know, the little engine that could, but being the better team?
I think there is a little bit of pressure. I've seen that probably a little bit here and there. I think players we've put a little bit of more pressure on ourselves here and there. I think it helps that we are a balanced team too, because I do think that we can have somebody sputter for a while or maybe even a full game, and we have enough offense to kind of pick that up, and I think we also have enough experience to know that, hey, I don't have to score the ball to help the team, and I think that's the mark of a mature team, is that somebody can not score the ball on a given day, and you can look at the end of the game and say, well, she contributed with A, B, and C outside of scoring. So those those things help insulate you from that. But I do feel like there's been some of that where we've probably felt more pressure than we did a year ago, and I expected that. But I think we've navigated it pretty well, and we will be an underdog, if not Saturday, Tuesday.
Does Rachel's experience impact the offensive end of the floor for you guys?
The offensive end?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
watching the Drake game back, it's like she's setting a lot of screens, she's moving the ball quick. She's getting, cutting and screening and all that kind of stuff. Does that impact you guys enough?
Yeah.
Make sure your offense is leveled up?
Yeah, I think Rachel's presence does kind of calm us, even though she's not our most calm player. I think first of all, she's a low mistake player. She helps other players, like you said, by screening. She's a good cutter, and she gets us second and third opportunities. I mean, I told the team the other day, we're last in our league in offensive rebounding, and we had made progression the last couple of years. We historically haven't been very good on the offensive glass. Have kind of taken a step backwards, and part of that is I think that Rachel missed 6 or 7 games. So we need her back to get us extra shots and to help our rotation. I think it's part of not being a good offensive rebounding team is we've probably played some kids that are a little more tired. So just having an extra experienced player helps us there. But yeah, I think offensively she knows who to screen for, and I think she makes simple plays, which is what you want your veterans to do.
Why do you think she has a calming effect, despite the fact that she's not necessarily?
She's our most
Yes.
most hyperly wired player. I think confidence in doing things other than scoring is what it comes down to, and I think there is a comfort in knowing if I'm Emma or Morgan and I need a screen, I'm going to get it from Rachel. I'm going to get it from Carly. Those two have an idea that they can do that, and their ability to move off the ball and make things more difficult, I think opens things up for Morgan and Lauren and Emma, and they're also, good what we would call recipient scorers. You can look at a game and Rachel can give you 8 points, or Carly can give you 8 or 10 points, and you're not really sure where they got them. So those things are impactful.
Rachel said that she's really impressed with how this team takes its weaknesses seriously and tries to work on the things that are probably challenging to work on.
Yeah.
How have you seen that play out?
Well, I think like in practice this week, we said, hey, we have to be a better screening team. We're going to play 3 teams coming up that are going to be either more athletic or way longer than us and more physical. So if we're just counting on going and getting shots after 2 or 3 passes, we're probably not going to be too successful. So I thought we really emphasized being a better screening team this week, and I felt like they really integrated that. So, I mean, the thing to think about, and we've told them, is Tatum Rembaugh was probably one of the top 5 to 7 passers in the country last year. I mean, she was, and so we knew we wouldn't be quite as good a passing team, and we haven't been. And so we have to be a better screening team. Like last year, I mentioned we assisted on 73% of our baskets. This year, we're at only like 57. So some of that is losing Tatum, and Peyton Brodsky was a really good passer. So we knew that number would come down. It's come down too far, and I think it's because we've got shot creators, and that's okay when you're playing like athletes, like we've played we've played good teams, but we've played maybe more like athletes. We're going to play better athletes and more length, so we have to be a better screening team. We're not going to just, hey, Lauren, go get a shot after 2 passes. Hey, Morgan, go get a shot after 2 passes. So I think we've really taken that seriously this week, and I think anytime you can say, hey, this is what we're going to emphasize this week, and you see progression, then you're confident that it's a mature team and a team that wants to be great.
I know Arkansas is not totally like they were last year. There's some subtle differences that make an impact, but if last year's Arkansas game was the springboard to you guys having a higher level of belief in what you could do in terms of your ceiling, are you curious to see what the rematch does in that same regard at all?
Absolutely. I think it's like I said, we have their attention. I mean, I know that their coach told them last year that we could go in there and win, but whether that got through to their players, I don't know. But I know because he talked about it afterwards. He goes, hey, we told them that's what they're going to do. But I think it is potentially a springboard game again. I mean, it's, there is a tendency to look at a team from the SEC and think that they're different than a South Dakota State, or Drake, who's a really good those are really good basketball teams. But now all of a sudden you throw SEC in front of them and you think maybe, well, they're different athletically, and maybe they are, but I think it can be really impactful, especially when you consider what we have going forward. I mean, we have a really tough schedule, and to have a game at home against a team that we beat a year ago, I think our players know how important this game is.
One thing that helps that tough schedule, they really push each other, and that's kind of nice to see from a coaching perspective.
Yeah.
You gotta love that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I thought today was, and Jamie Horan and Mallory Brake, who are third-year players who really, they play more important roles than people think, because they come and compete every day in practice, and they're ready to go on game day. And when I'm putting teams together for practice, I don't have to worry about, this team's way way better than the other team. I mean, I'll give you an example. 2 weeks ago, I put the 5 starters on a team and the other 5 on a team, and we played a reasonable length section, and the non-starters beat the starters 13-12 or 14-13, and the starters were not happy. But I referenced that. I said that, look, this is how balanced we are, and this is how difficult. Like, we can't get comfortable. You can't get comfortable with your minutes, but also those of you who aren't playing as many minutes understand that I recognize how valuable you are, and I trust you. You're not that far from maybe playing a few more minutes, because you're bringing it every day in practice.
Anything else for Flan? Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, you guys.